What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another episode of Grey Man Operations. Today we are going to go back to this channel's roots with a flashlight review. Now this is the Nitecore EDC25, and I will tell you, I was not going to review this flashlight because as much as it says it is a ultra slim, I don't know if you can see that tactical flashlight on the box, guys. The Nitecore EDC25 is not a tactical flashlight, at least not by my standards, and I'll explain why in this video. Before we do get into this, guys, just remember next week the competition for the Canik MC9 giveaway closes. That's on the 7th. If you want to get in that competition, you can join on Patreon via the first link in the video description below if you're watching on YouTube, or the first comment on Facebook or Instagram. That by doing that, you will automatically gain 5 extra entries for that competition. If you don't want to join on Patreon, there is an entry link down below in the video description on YouTube as well as Facebook, Instagram in the comments. The week after that, to my patrons, this is a patron exclusive giveaway. I'm going to give away a brand new Mechanic M01 red dot. That's only to my patrons. Like I said, if you want to join, the link is down below. So let's talk about the Nitecore EDC25. Now, I'm going to explain to you why I feel it's not a tactical flashlight. First of all, the impact resistance. It is only rated for 1 meter. Okay, now I am 1.8 meters tall, so I can't even drop this thing from this height, and if it breaks, the manufacturer can say, well, it's not rated for that kind of drop distance. For me, a tactical flashlight has to be something you can drop from at least head or shoulder height and it survives. So there already, as far as I'm concerned, it's no longer a tactical flashlight. Another reason it's not a tactical flashlight is because of the way the buttons work. If you, by mistake, in the heat of the moment, press both buttons at the same time, it goes into its low mode or its memory mode. I've got a problem with that, because if you are in a high stress situation, a tactical situation, the ability to press one button might be severely reduced. Most tactical flashlights are this type deal where you can't make a mistake no matter how hard you try, especially if you're wearing gloves. Now, why am I reviewing a light that I wouldn't ordinarily review? Well, the simple fact is I like it. Okay, so when I got this light and I looked at it and I read the details, I was like, yeah, this is not going to make it on the channel. And then I was laying in bed one day and I just started to play with it a bit, and I checked out the modes, and then the next day I put it in my pocket and I was like, I really like this flashlight. Okay, so I had to get the non-tactical nature out of the way to begin with for complete transparency. Now, those of you who follow the channel will know that Nitecore, they're kind of one of my favorite Chinese brands. I quite like Nitecore and Phoenix when it comes to flashlights. So I was a little initially disappointed when they said tactical, and personally, in my opinion, it's not that tactical. It's a really cool flashlight with some really cool features. So let's get into modes. So here's where the coolness starts. Okay, firstly, you've got this button right here, the one that sticks up a little. Okay, that is your normal activation button, but it's got two, shall we call it, indents. If you light press it, you'll hear a click. I'll just see if I can get this. So light pressing gives you moonlight mode, what I like to call moonlight mode, what they call ultra low. It's 15 lumens, right, on momentary on. Okay, so the moment I release it, this is my mic, by the way, which is why I'm holding it there, it goes off. So a light press, 15 lumens momentary on. That's super useful because I'm up super late at night, either editing a video or doing whatever. And when I need to move around, especially when I come to the bedroom, it's pitch black. I don't want to like beam, Michelle with 3000 lumens. That solves that problem like a champ. Now, when you do light press, you also get a battery level indicator and an output level indicator. Okay, the colors, the battery level indicator is green, the output level indicator is blue. So we're on 15 lumens, which is its lowest setting. You take it off and it goes off. Now, when you hard press, a hard tap, which is you go through the first indent, it will go on to the last mode you set it to. Now, let me explain this. if I cycle through the modes and I leave it on if I leave it on medium, excuse me, if I light press, the single press, it goes into moonlight. But if I hard press, it goes into the last mode I set it to, which was medium, which I quite like. So let me show you this. Moonlight, medium. See, so that's cool. So you can very easily switch it to a mode that you like. Okay, sort of your main administrative mode, which might be medium, and you hard press that sucker. But you immediately have a moonlight mode just by a light press, which is a momentary on moonlight mode. So the way you cycle through the modes is using the main button. You put the flashlight on, so that I've got it on in moonlight on its lowest, and a single tap cycles you through the modes. What I do personally is I leave it in moonlight mode on my momentary press, and then medium on my hard press, because that 200 lumens is sufficient around the house. Now the nice thing is that the flush button is an immediate 3000 lumens, 22,500 candela, 300 meter beam distance. That's very cool. So if you are, for example, in low mode looking around the house or looking for your keys in your car and you hear something outside, it's very easy to switch to high mode and you get that full 3 grand beam. The high mode is only in momentary on. You can't like the moment you take your hand off the button, it goes off. Now, if you want a strobe mode, you can have that as well. By putting the light on and pressing the main function button, it switches from constant on, can you guys see that, to strobe. Obviously my camera might be freaking out, but that's strobe. So now you have your normal function, but you also have an immediate strobe. And then to switch it back, you just switch the light on and press that button, and now you have. I keep it in momentary on mode because I find like I can quite easily strobe what I need to strobe. A lot of people complained about the predecessor to this light, saying it'll go on sometimes it goes on in your pocket and it gets super hot. It does, but this one does have I don't know if you guys can see, it's got the proximity sensor. So this will be 3000 lumens, but it immediately dims, which is super nice. The nice thing about it, and I suppose the quote-unquote tactical thing about it, is it doesn't dim once on. So if I put this on in 3000 lumen and I bring something close to it, it still stays at 3000 lumens. That is really cool because you might, especially for quote-unquote defense or tactical purposes, you don't want that light to inadvertently dim. If you put it on in 3000 lumens, you want it to stay 3000 lumens, but if something is super close to it, it will dim, so it doesn't burn a hole in your pocket. I mean, you're not going to heat something this close with 3000 lumens. You're just going to wash everything out. Talking about wash everything out, let's take a look at beam shots. Okay, so in the pitch black, I'm going to cycle through the modes. We're on low right now, or ultra low, shall I say. This is normal low, which is 65 lumens. Then we're going to cycle up to medium, which is 200 lumens. And then we're going to cycle up to high, which is 1000 lumens. As you can see, you've got a good hotspot, you've got good flood. So you've got a decent amount of lumen and candela there. And now we're going to push it up to 3000 lumens. And you can see you get a really powerful hotspot. The beam coming out of that light is nice and focused. Obviously on super bright things, it's going to wash out because we are hitting it with 3000 lumen. The spill is really good. I mean, this range is pitch black when this light goes off. Now guys, you do get quite a cool lockout mode, right? So if you switch the light on and then on the main button, you light press and then hard press and hold, you'll see that eventually you'll get that red light. So now this function button is completely dead, but you do still get your call it our defense, our lumen shield, if you will, right? Your 3000 lumen, 22,000 candela. So now it's a strictly momentary on flashlight. You now can't put this flashlight on in its entirety. Even if I press that button, it's now not going to work. The way to get out of that lockout mode is to light press and then hard press, and you will see the the brightness indicator light up, and once it's all the way lit up, you are out of that lockout mode. So I quite like that lockout mode for if you wanted it as a strictly tactical flashlight. The only thing is I don't like if you press both buttons, which you really can do, you don't get anything, right? That for me, it's if they should have programmed it to where even in normal mode, if you press both buttons, you get your high beam intensity button, because especially with gloves and in a high stress moment, you're highly likely to press both buttons, especially if this comes out of your pocket in this orientation to where the main button is on the inside of your thumb. You're just going to press that sucker down, and doesn't quite work as well as I would have liked unless you're running it in that lockout mode. Now, talking about coming out of your pocket, guys, the shape of this is what wins it for me. This wedge style flat type deal. I don't know why. I don't know why this is so rare. It's really, really nice and it sits really nice in your pocket. If you look at the difference in the amount of real estate between a normal tubular design versus this wedge style design, it just slots really nicely into your pocket, and it's that comfort. It was just really comfortable for me to carry this flashlight that made me carry it more often, and sort of brought about this review. Let's talk about what you get in the box. The box: EDC25 user manual, Nitecore USB Type-C charging cable, paracord style wristband / lanyard, warranty card, Nitecore EDC25 flashlight. Guys, the EDC25 is a really cool flashlight. They actually have the different functions written on the back. It's also a very cool looking flashlight, right? It's got like this knurling on the sides over here and over here. There and there. It's got a very aggressive clip. This thing is one of the tightest clips. Once this is in your pocket, it's not coming out of your pocket, and it's a really nice long clip, so it sits very nice and deep inside of your pocket. The buttons are a very fidgety, tactile style feel. The buttons also have that like knurling on it, so they feel nice to the touch, but it's got like a very pleasurable clicky type deal. It's not a mouse click, not quite a mouse click. It's just a bit more ASMR-y than a mouse click. So it is something that you will sit and just find yourself doing that quite often. As a utilitarian EDC flashlight, especially the fact that you can have basically 3 modes all at the tap of a button. You can have moonlight mode. You can have, how I have it, medium for medium searches, and then you can also have super bright for defensive purposes or to reach a bit further. It's quite nice. It's like 3 modes right at your fingertips, and once you get used to the UI, it actually becomes very easy to play around with. So huge thanks to Nitecore for hooking me up with this. I always appreciate their support. Guys, remember, Canik MC9 giveaway closes next week, Sunday, so get in on that. Also to my patrons, don't forget you are also automatically in on the Mechanic M01 Red Dot giveaway. That is it, guys. I will see you later in the week for another review. Have a good week. Be safe, train hard. Cheers. God bless.